it's time for the mid-morning sync up here on Monday, and I messed up. I couldn't get into the third session I wanted to, even though I had a reserved seat, as I mentioned. But after the second panel, I knew one of the panelists, so he and I sat down and had a conversation, and by the time we finished, the session was full. So I have an unexpected break here so I can record this. So I went to two sessions today. One was called From Threat to Security, a CISO's Playbook for AI. And this was a good panel. This had CISOs from Vodafone, PayPal, and the president of the security products division at Google Cloud. And so they have a very broad perspective, which I thought was really interesting, right? Obviously not a technical session. And there were a couple of things there. One is I was really glad to see them talk about governance as what they call a foundational backstop for AI adoption. And I'm a big fan of governance. It's why we really enjoy using the CISA, Zero Trust Maturity Model, because it includes governance as a first-class citizen. Anyway, governance is very important because what that is doing is controlling the processes that people are utilizing, and the ability for the organization to get the right level of visibility and control around that. And the opposite of governance, of course, is chaos and the Wild West. And we know how well that works, both from an operational perspective, reliability perspective, and from a security perspective. The other thing the panel mentioned was that the CISO PayPal gave an example of using AI to generate code. And that initially the code wasn't very high quality. And this was going back a good 18, 24 months. But what they did was they, of course, had humans review it, and they had their human written code base. And they used that code base to fine tune the model and give it examples of this is what high quality code, our code standards look like, et cetera. So the interesting thing is that was successful for them. And now they're utilizing that very effectively. But for those domains where you don't have the already generated results to help fine-tune your model and to help it validate, that's a big question mark, right? There should be a question mark in your mind if we're using AI to generate artifacts for us or make decisions, and we don't have a way to fine-tune it, train it, validate it, and improve its results, then that's a potential risk there, especially if it's a novel domain and no person has seen these types of results before, if it's doing research or analyzing gigantic amounts of data. So it's very important to build in processes to help validate that what it comes up with is actually going to be useful and high quality. So the second panel was about the OWASP AI Vulnerability Scoring System, or AI VSS. And this was terrific as well. A deputy CISO from Anthropic was there, along with someone from NIST and an independent researcher. So a couple of things here. One, of course, is that the CEO at NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, very prominently last week said every company needs to have an open clause strategy. And the interesting thing that the panel talked about was that actually a prerequisite for having an open clause strategy is having an open clause security strategy. So I thought that was really important, and it actually ties back to the first panel, right, which is governance. Okay, we're going to have to cut this video short and find a quieter place. But this is live TV, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're going to see if the audio comes through now that they lower that obnoxious music. The other thing that the Anthropic deputy CISO mentioned was that having a golden path for the use of AI, so a well-defined, well-structured, and supported mechanism has, in their experience, has made a significant dent in the resulting shadow AI or shadow IT. So that's something to keep in mind. Not a surprise, but it's good to know that in practice they have seen actual concrete results in pushing people toward the golden path rather than having more of the Wild West. And then finally, the thing I didn't love about the panel was that obviously OWASP AI VSS is about a mathematical model and a quantified risk of your AI environments. And of course that's important. I'm a bigger fan of risk reduction rather than risk measurement and risk acceptance. And I know that we don't live in an ideal world, and we have to quantify risk, we have to accept risk, we have to mitigate risk in our organizations. Clearly our preference needs to be risk reduction. And the AI VSS is going to be very good because it's going to help us quantify and therefore prioritize. But clearly our goal should be risk reduction and risk elimination rather than risk mitigation and risk acceptance. That's all we got for now. Thank you. Talk to you later.